Okay, good. So the other day we were talking about data management transformation techniques, and he said uh, the first one is called record, and record is basically changing a data type from changing a variable from one data type to another. So the process was as easy as going to transform, then automatic. Let me demonstrate that. So I'll open the data set that I shared with you on your group. So if you come to down to recent data, we use the one called trial data. I'll just click on it, then I'll import it again. I'll remove white leading spaces and trailing spaces. So once that is done, I'll have my data. So these are the variables that we had. I'll remove these extra variables that I'm not sure how they got there. So these variables, just clear them. So this was the data set that we were using, and we said we need to make sure that all the variable types, all the variables that we're using are numeric. So the first thing we said gender, one for male, and two for female. Then you click OK. So three for other. Three is supposed to be other, or I prefer not to say. So that is how to do coding for the data once you import it. This is numeric and continuous in nature, so we leave it that way. The next variable is education, and you can see education and language about string. Let's skip them and go to the next one, which is department. And you say department, we have three departments. So at the value, we give them values: one for HR, two for ICT, two for ICT, and three we said is for finance. So if you do so, if you come back to your data, you realize that now the variables are really dynamic. This one, the two variables are dynamic. But let hope we are together. So how do we transform these two variables from string to numeric? We say this is a quantitative software, and we cannot uh, analyze string variables at this point. So we need to transform them. We need to change the data from string to numeric. So how do I do that? You come to transform, then automatic record, then transfer the variables of interest. Even from the icon, you will see they have an A, which means those are string variables. So transfer all the variables of interest to the variable new name. Uh, Once you are here, just change the name. So I'll call it level of education. Again, naming variables, you remember there are rules. We can't use spaces. You can't use special characters. We can't start with a variable name with a number. So I'm using underscore to separate the names instead of using spaces. The next one is language. So I'll just call it language proficiency. And remember there is no space between variable names. So that is how I'll record that variable. Click OK. So the reason why automatic record is very important is because it does the rest for you. So I'll demonstrate how to do manual recording into same variable and recording into a different variable, and you'll see the difference. At this point, once you change the name, just click OK, and their variables have been recorded. So go back to your data. You'll realize we have two more variables, and you even have the values given. So this one automatically find the values, organize them in chronological order, then give them values. So coming to your data, we have two more variables added, this one, and you can see they are all dynamic. Okay, while these ones remain to be there. So apart from automatic record, we can do what you call recording into same variable and recording into different variable. So let's start by recording into different variables. I'll click record into different. My variable of interest is this education. That is the string variable. Transfer it to the other side. From there, I give it a new name. I'll just call it educ. That way, then you can give it a label like education level. Again, remember at this point, a label is not a variable name, so you are at liberty to use any case. But if it's a variable name, it has to follow the naming rules that we had discussed earlier. So we start with the old value. So the old value, we start with primary. We want primary to be one. Primary to be one. I'll click add. I'll say university. So this one, you need to know how many categories you have before you start doing recording into same variable or recording into a different variable. Before, if you don't know how many categories you have, it will be somehow hard for you to do the same thing. That's why I really advocate you do automatic record where you just change the variable name. The next one is high school. From high school we have three. That is being to be it's going to be our third variable, third category. Then I think we had something to do. So primary, university. I think those are the only variables that we have. So once you find the old variable, the new one, then you click OK. Click continue. Let me confirm whether I have. I think we had college. So college would be the third one, the fourth one. So college, good. And I say college to be. So the old value is the original coding of that variable within your data set. The new value we are doing here is going to be what? The new value is going to be whatever we want it to be. So I'll click OK and click OK. So a new variable called educ has been generated. Go back to your data and realize we have it here. It has some decimal place which makes it look odd. It's because the number of decimal places here, we need to adjust them to 0. Then again, it is not as dynamic as these other ones. So we will need to go back and give it the same values again. So we'll say 1 to represent something, 2 to represent. So let's do it 1 to represent primary, 2 to represent university, 3 to represent, we said that it was high school, and 4 to represent a college. I hope we are together, populate. Then click OK. If you come back to your data, then you will see it is as dynamic as the others. Look at the level of education. That is how to make it dynamic. The next one is transform into same variable. So the difference between recording to same variable and recording to different variable. Recording to different variable will replicate the same variable but on a different slot. For this one, we are replacing the same variables. Uh, so instead of coming up with a different variable using whatever we had in the old variable, we replace it here. That is recording into same variable. So let's see, how do we record a variable into same variable. So I'll click record. Then the variable of interest is level of education, or I can use language now. I'll click language to the other side, then old and new value. The old value we are going to have, we have Kiswahili, English and French. So Kiswahili is the old value. Kiswahili, it's going to, we want to record it as 1. Click add. Then 2, we have English. So English is going to be 2. Click add. Then the third one is French, and French is going to be 3. We are giving the value of French a new value 3. Click OK and click OK, continue, then click OK. So I have recorded the same variable. If you come now to language, you can see it has been, the variable has been changed. So what do you need to do? It is string, yes, but you can now change it to numeric from that point. But remember, if a variable is string, you cannot just come to this point and change it to numeric. If you do this one, you lose everything on this variable. Let's look at that. You can now see it becomes blank if you do just direct transformation. So you just need to follow the process. So once language is coded, then you need to say one to represent Swahili, two to represent English, three to represent French. That is the process. So among the three processes, the one that is the easiest to do and the most efficient, especially if you have large data sets, is the automatic record. And now look at this data set. It is almost everything is dynamic except for this one that we replaced directly. We just came here and changed it from whatever we wanted to something. That's why we are having you losing. So if you ever come here and just change it direct without following the process, you lose every data point that you have. Okay. So apart from split, let's open a data set within this software and see how we can do other data transformation techniques. So we have something like select, but we can use the same data set. We have split and compute. So what is select? So select is assuming we want to find the mean for how many males and females are there in this data set. So we have a variable called gender, but we want to select only the males. We want to know how many males are there. So that is the concept of select. We are choosing a specific category within a categorical variable. So we are selecting specific one. So how do we do that? To select a specific one, you come to transform, you come to data, then select cases. So we want to know the ones that we want to count only the males. So the variable of interest is if condition is, make sure you check if condition is met, then click OK. If come to data, let me start the process. Just come to data, then select cases, check this part if condition is satisfied, then click this if. Our variable of interest is gender, then use this keyboard if gender is equal to 1. So 1 is male, click continue and click OK. So we have selected a specific case in these data sets, and you can see filter applied. Selecting is like applying a filter. It's going to sieve only the ones that are. Go back to your data. So the data is on this. You'll realize it has crossed the ones that we are not working with. So we want just the males. So if I click analyze now, descriptive frequency, then I transfer gender or any other variable, we're going to have we have 40 males in this data set. Out of 100, I have 40. So my data set had 100 observation. Out of them, I have 40 males. So if you do any other analysis, it will be doing it selectively. Assuming I analyze maybe the age, for example, descriptive, then for age, remember I said descriptive is done for continuous variable alone. Click OK and click OK. You can now see this is the age for the 40 because we have filtered this data. We have segmented this data only for the males now. So that is the concept of select. You select a specific one. So in terms of the youngest person here, in terms of the male, we have 18. The maximum is 59 for male. Then on average, these males have 39 point something. Again, assuming one for the female, just come to transform, select. If condition is met, again you can reset if you want. Reset first, then click condition. So if condition, assuming you want the level of education to be university, so university was 2, so I'll click OK, then choose 2. if education is 2, analyze if education is 2, then click OK. So if I come to this is where we get recently used codes or dialogues. So assuming I want to run frequency for just gender, I'll click OK. Okay, just a moment. Let me analyze frequency for education. So frequency, then in terms of I'll reset, then have education. Click OK. Click OK. Let me check something. Okay, so almost everything has been, yeah, because I think I use this education. There is nothing level of the level of education at this point is having nothing. The one that I changed direct. So I'll clear this one. I'll go back to data and use this level of education. Okay, good. So I used the wrong one. Sorry about that. That's why I'm getting that error. So instead of having this one, I'll remove that and I'll use this level of education. Good. Click OK. And now I can click on continue and OK. So if I run the same thing, frequency for gender, we will only have the ones that their level of education matches number 2, university. So the ones that are at the university level in terms of male and female, we have 14 males who are at university level. We have 5 females who are at university level. The same thing, I can run frequency for education. I can reset, then run for education. See the only ones who are at the university. Oh, number 2 was high school, I believe so. Sorry. So that is how to select your data. The next concept after select is split. Something to remember before I continue to split is always make sure that you go back to select and reset. If you don't reset, your data will remain segmented and you won't be able to get a significant result at certain points. The next concept is select. So I want to select male and female, or split, I mean. So split is separating between the two. So come back to data, then split. So I want to compare the average age for male and female. I use the concept split. So split, the variable is gender. Then I'll just click OK. So you can see I'm using split as a concept. So if, for example, I run something like descriptive for age, so descriptive statistic for age, and click OK, I want to be able to, okay, good. Let me go back to split the file. Yeah, split file. Yeah. So this is supposed to be split file. Sorry about what I want to split into files. So let me reset this one. Reset, then click OK. So split file, come to split data, then split file. So I want to see the on averagely between male and female who has the higher age on average. So compare groups in terms of male and female. Then I'll just click OK. Now analyze descriptive statistic for age. You will see it separated between male and female. See the difference. So here it is. The youngest female is 19. The youngest male is what? Is 20, is 18. Whenever the youngest, the oldest male is 59. The oldest male is 60. On average, we have the males are 39, the females are 38. I prefer not to say at 34. Look at that. The deviations are also shown as you can see there. So that is if you want to see the difference. I want to see the difference between people who attend university, level between male and female. So I'll come to analyze frequency, then education level. Click OK. So you can see male and female. I want to just see university level. So we have 30% of male make it to the university. In terms of the female has the majority. For this data set, 46.4% of females make it to the university. That is the highest level. While the male one, 35% make it to what? 35% make it to high school. 17% make it to high school for the female. So you can see the difference between, you can get some insight, not just having the general knowledge about in terms of high school how many made there. So you can see the difference for male and female, and those how their progress and the percentages. So can allow you to drill down into your data and be able to get such insights. The next one is the next concept. The last concept is compute. So compute is just doing arithmetic operations. So assuming you want to, maybe we have this variable called age, and we want to add age, like we want to add 10 years to all these variables. So how do we do that? Transform, then compute. Go to transform, then compute. So I want to add 10. So this is age plus 10. I'll call it age plus 10. So age 10 years. Then I'll click this variable plus 10. Okay. Click OK. So age, it has added 10 years to all the variables that we have. That is what you call compute. This is it. You can now see this is a 37 and now this is 47. You can do other operations, assuming this was an economical variable like GDP, interest rates, and such kind of things. You can do transformations like finding the log of a variable. So I call it log age, not appropriate for age, but I'm just demonstrating a concept. So log age, I'll come to this point, click arithmetic, then look for log to base 10, transfer log to base 10, age in between there. So it will find the log of those years. Go back, you'll see we have a variable called log age, log to base 10. You can square a number, you can multiply too. So I can multiply this one by this one. So how do I do that without doing it manually, then pasting your work here? Transform, compute. So you can do almost all operations. I'll reset. I'll just find age multiple. So I can multiply variable multiply. So I'll just delete this one. Then I can take this variable times this variable. Then click OK. So go back and you'll see your variable. There is one that has multiplied the two. This one times this one. Just simple as that. That is what you call computing within SPSS. I think that